All right, let's go check out what equipment we're going to need for river running. We're at the Nantahala Outdoor Center in the Outfitters store. All the goods are inside. Come check it out. Okay, you need to know what makes a good river running kayak. Rule number one is if your objective is to get down the river right side up, comfortable, in control, and gain confidence in kayaking, you need a boat that's going to make that as easy as possible. Now the funny thing is, a boat that's really good for one person, a great river runner for one person, might not be a great river runner for another person. And the primary factors that determine a great river running boat are number one, the boat's design, and number two, the size and the shape of the person in that boat. So let's go through number one, the design. The design of a river running boat. Your objective is extremely easy to roll. Now I designed a boat called the Fun Series, and the objective was to maximize the river running ability of this boat. So rolling ability is number one. In order for a boat to be easy to roll, the back band needs to be low enough on your body that allows you to do a full hip snap and lean back. Number two, you need to have a lot of flare in the sidewalls so that when you roll up, it gets to a certain point, it wants to finish the roll and get you back right side up. That flare also keeps you from tipping over. It gives you secondary stability, which is a key factor in a river running boat. Next, you need a bow and stern that stay out of the water as much as possible. That means you need to have enough rocker in the boat so when you're paddling, your bow isn't purling all the time. Lastly, you need to make sure that your boat is stable enough. It needs to be wide enough for your body. If the boat's too narrow or too small, you're going to be tippy in the boat. If it's too wide, it's going to be hard to roll. So basically what you want is a boat that's the right size for you. So size is key. There is actually one other factor. If your boat has edges on it at all, they need to be high enough out of the water that you're not catching your edge down the river. You want some space between the water and that edge. As long as you have some space, the boat's not going to be edgy. You can have nice sharp edges on a kayak and they won't be a negative factor, they'll be a positive factor as long as the water is far enough below the edges. Now let's go with a couple people here. Here I've got a couple helpers, my daughter Emily and Lauren. Both of these girls can fit in the Fun 1.5, for example. Emily, you want to jump in, please? Emily can fit in this kayak. It's called the Fun 1.5. So she can fit in it comfortably. She can sit in the boat. This boat is designed to be easy to roll, non-edgy, an ultimate river runner. However, Emily's a little bit too heavy for this boat. When Emily's in this boat, the water is all the way up to the edge. If the water is all the way up to the edge or even slightly over, these edges are in play at all times, which means every time a current hits her from the side, it's going to try to flip her. Now go ahead and jump out, Em. Now Emily could play this boat really well. She could do all kinds of tricks in it. You want to jump in, Lauren? Now Lauren is quite a bit smaller. Lauren's on the 80 pounds. She's in the same boat now. Now all of a sudden Lauren's in the exact same boat. Now the water line is down here. This boat is awesome. In fact, it is the #1 best river runner that this 9-year-old girl could possibly get in at her size and weight. Now what is the difference? Well, Emily is big enough that she can really throw the boat around. It's a great play boat for her. Where Lauren isn't going to be able to flat water cartwheel the boat necessarily or very easy. However, because she's the right size for the boat, even a little bit on the light side for her, it's going to make the ultimate river runner for her. Now check this out. Lauren currently owns this boat over here. This is the next size down, the Fun 1. You want to jump in that, Lauren? So this is the boat that Lauren currently paddles. It's called the Fun 1. Now this is a full size down from the Fun 1.5, right? Well, Lauren can full play boat this. She can paddle forward and go into a bow stall, that type of thing. She's 80 pounds. She's right at what is considered to be the top level for the weight of this boat. So the river running ability of the Fun 1 for her is starting to get lower. The play boating ability is increasing. So when you're deciding what kind of kayak to get, it's very key that you look at the chart and you make sure that you're not at the top end on the weight for that particular boat if you're looking for the easiest river running boat. As we get into the larger categories of boats, boats have been designed for a lot of different sizes. There haven't been a whole lot of boats designed for the 240 plus category. So if you're over 240 pounds, you need to be looking at the charts and determine what boats go to the highest weight category. This is an example of a super fun, and I show it between 190 and 250 as the category. However, Dan at 260, does that mean this boat isn't going to work for him? Not at all. It's going to be, his water line is going to be higher on the edges, and it's going to be more edgy than Nathan here at 220, but the objective is to get the best possible boat for your weight. And unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of boats designed for over 250, so you need to get the biggest one you can. The example in the Fun series is the Super Fun. There's also a few creek boats out there and river running creek boats that fit the bill as well. You've got a great river running boat. Your next key is going to be getting it outfitted properly. You need to have contact with your body in all the right places. Your hips, your knees, and your feet. You need to have a proper back band in place. Let's start with the hips. Hip pads go in the boat. The objective is to take up that extra room in your rear end so that your rear end doesn't slide back and forth. If you go to lean to the side, your butt doesn't slide to the side. It also makes it a lot easier to roll when you're doing the hip snap. Now, you can adjust the hip pads up and down. That really helps tighten it. If you want to tighten your hip pads, you move it down, and the thick part goes further down on your rear end. If you want to loosen it up, you simply raise it up or rotate it. There's also often, for really small hip people, there's often shims you can put on to tighten the thing up as well. So the hip pads go in. Key number one. You should feel like there's no extra room side to side, but it shouldn't be squeezing. Next thing is your back band. Your back band should be adjustable, and it should support your back when you're sitting neutral. When you lean forward, the back band should move away from your back slightly. When you lean back, you should feel a little bit more pressure. Hey, Nathan, you want to jump in, please? So, Nathan's getting in the boat here. All right. So, Nathan, I want you to tighten your back band. Okay, good. Now, let's see where you are. Sit up straight. Good posture. Okay, I can put my hand between the back band and his back. Let's tighten it a little bit more. Okay, perfect. All right, now lean forward. A little more. There you go. The pressure comes off his back. Lean back. All right, good. Now, next thing is let's make sure that our knees are properly outfitted. Now, with this boat, the knee brace is designed right in the kayak. Now, his legs, if you look, aren't even touching. Now, the reason his legs aren't touching aren't because the knee braces aren't tight. It's because his feet have too much room. So by his feet having too much room, his leg pushes forward. We need to bring his legs back by giving him some foot pressure, which that will hold his knees to the top. So Nathan, there's a pump bulb in here. If you can pump that up. In this boat, it's a thing called the Happy Feet, which is an adjustable foot brace. He's pumping up the air bladder, which will move his airbag all the way back until it keeps pushing his feet back and back, and that'll hold his knees against the top. All right, now look, just relax, Nathan. Move your arm here. Now notice he's got contact in his leg from here and all the way up to his knee, and his knee is also contacting the outside of the boat. That allows him to have really good control. He can lift the knee. If he drops an edge, his knee doesn't fall to the side, and when he goes to roll, he's got great contact and it's going to be comfortable. He's not going to be falling out of the boat. So we've got foot contact, leg contact, back, and hips. So now his great river running boat is perfectly outfitted and he's ready to run the river. Cool. Thanks.